Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a how plus size friendly is Holiday World and Splashin Safari video. Holiday World and Splashin Safari, located in Santa Claus, Indiana, is a super great park. Been voted the cleanest park for I think like 19 years in a row now. I've been going there every year since I was probably 5, and I just love this place. And they call it Holiday World because they have 4 different themed areas. You have Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, and 4th of July, and then the water park, Splash and Safari. The theming here, this is like an authentic theme park. Like, it is really well themed, really well kept. There's like a trash can every 10 feet. There's always somebody out there sweeping and cleaning, keeping the park clean, keeping the park nice. And it's known as a more family friendly park. It's great for families to go to. I really think they could use some more like maybe thrill rides. Because a lot of the stuff is geared more towards kids, which is great because that it is great, but if you don't have kids or whatever, I mean, there's still going to be plenty for you to do here, but there's a lot for the kids here at this theme park. And unlike the Kings Island video I did, I am going to go in depth on the water park because me and pretty much everybody I know goes to Holiday World. The main draw for us is the water park. The water park is phenomenal here. It It's amazing. I think it's the best water park I've ever been to by far. Like, it blows every other water park I've ever seen out of the water. And it's maybe located, well, just like maybe an hour from Louisville, Kentucky. I think a little over 2 hours from Indianapolis, Indiana. And it is still a family-owned theme park, one of the few that still are, uh, which I think also makes it unique. Um, And so without further ado, let's get started at Holiday World and Splash and Safari with the roller coasters. I'm going to start talking about, excuse me, Thunderbird, which is their newest coaster built in 2015. It is the B&M, the first ever launched wing coaster. And for people that think wing coasters are not forceless, not powerless, think again, because this coaster is all that and more. Super amazing, smooth. Love the launch. The launch is phenomenal. Okay, so this coaster is going to have an over-the-shoulder bust restraint, common on B&Ms. This restraint can also be seen on, if you've ever rode Banshee at Kings Island, that's going to be another one that's going to have this type of restraint. This coaster does have a test seat out front. Strongly advise you use the test seat. And don't be worried about people making fun of you or anything like that for using the test seat. Screw them. That's all they want to do is make fun of people. Screw them. But anyway, there's a red seat belt and a black seat belt, and the red one's just a little bit longer. And I believe that be rows 2 and 3. I'm pretty sure they have the big boys seating. It's either 2. I'm pretty sure it's 2 and 3. But it'll be said on the signs, if you can fit in the red seat belt, go to this seat, because the red one's a little bit longer than the black one. As I've said in the Kings Island video, same restraint style as Banshee. In Banshee, I felt like I fit on Banshee a lot easier than I did Thunderbird. My statistics, again, 5'6", about 290 pounds. Weight is carried in my stomach, hips and thighs, not really in my chest area at all. This comes down on my stomach, and the attendants always have to push kind of hard to get me in there. We have to do some struggling. I do ride, but there's, some configuring to get me in there. I do think, you would think it'd be the same, but I feel like Thunderbird is I don't know why, but it is. I've had to do the walk of shame once on Thunderbird, and it was embarrassing. Um, it's heartbreaking too when you have to do that. You see, I didn't even bother going to the testy because I knew I fit before, but I guess that year maybe I was just bloated or something. Um, so please be advised, use the test seat. The test seat's pretty accurate. I mean, if you get pretty close, I'd still go ahead up to the ride because the attendants are great about pushing and helping getting you in. And when they do push, it can help get you in better. But if you're super close on the test seat, go up to the ride because I actually can't buckle the test seat, but on the ride I can fit, except that one time. Um, but if you don't really get close, I really don't advise you riding. And it is heartbreaking because this is such a fun coaster. Um, but again, test seat, use it. Problems, I could see even hips just trying to wiggle back all the way in the seat or thighs could cause an issue. Big chest and big stomach. But if you fit in the test seat, you're definitely going to be good to go. Next, we have Holiday World's 3 wooden coasters. We have the Legend, the Raven, and the Voyage. They are going to be pretty standard roller coasters, pretty accommodating for us bigger people or pretty much anyone. Here we have pictured the first one, the Legend. I can't remember if there's a test seat out front or not. I really don't pay attention because I know it's a wooden. I should be fine. Um, it's going to have a seat divider in the middle, a separate lap or seat belt, sorry, and then a lap bar that's going to come down on you. The seat belt's super long, nothing to worry about there. And maybe if you have bigger hips, it might be a little tight squeeze. But for the most part, I don't foresee many bigger people in general, having issue on the Legend. And the same rules are going to apply for the Raven as well. The Raven may be the most squishy of the 3, but I still don't think it's that bad at all, honestly. A seat divider again, long seat belt, lap bar that pulls down. I do remember there being a test seat out front on the Raven, just to check out, just to reassure yourself. But I don't think you would have an issue. And lastly, but certainly, definitely not least, the Voyage. I know for a fact there's a test seat out front on this one. And I feel like this one might be the roomiest, maybe because it is the newest one. But it is going to be roomier than the other two, but none of them are going to be too terribly tight or too terribly hard to get into. The Voyage has super long seatbelt as well with a lap bar that pulls down. Um, Again, there is a test seat out front of this one, and the Raven for sure probably would be the Legend, but if not, same rules apply. So yeah, definitely check these 3 coasters out at Holiday World. The last roller coaster at Holiday World is called the Howler. Um, the Howler is just like mainly a kiddie coaster. I wouldn't really call it a family coaster. I mean, I guess it could be, but I really think kids are what's going to enjoy this more than families. Um, it's got a lap bar, a shared lap bar that comes down across the seat. Um, I don't see why anybody would honestly ride this unless they were going to ride it with a kid. Because it's just, it's more for kids. It may be a little squishy riding with somebody on this one if you're a bigger person. So just be warned of that. But other than that, it's not going to be really that squishy for big people. Liberty Launch. I hate drop towers, so I'm not going to ride this thing. You cannot get me on this thing. You can't pay me to get me on this thing. But it has an over-the-shoulder restraint that's going to have to connect to a buckle. So problems with chest or stomach would come into play on this one. And looks like the seats are 14 inches across. So be mindful of that. So that could be a little smushy if you're wider. And here's, a closer picture of the seat restraints. You are allowed to ask to enter through the exit and check out the seat fit, how it fits before you ride. There is no test seat located at this ride, however, but it does look like it could pose some problems for us bigger people and bigger in the chest or stomach area. Crow's Nest, you're going to have a shared lap bar and a individual seat belt, but me and my fiance rode together and we're both bigger people. We had no issues on this ride whatsoever, and we found this ride to be very accommodating. Mayflower, the swinging ship ride, has a shared lap bar that's going to come down over the whole row, but we both found this to be very accommodating for bigger people. The following rides should fit any person comfortably, even if you are bigger. Gobbler Getaway, Hallowswings, the Holidog Express, the Rough Riders bumper cars, the Turkey Whirl, Frightful Falls, and the Lewis and Clark Trail, which is their antique car ride. The Star Spangled Carousel should also be very accommodating, and they do have stationary benches along with the animals that do move up and down during the ride. The Scarecrow Scrambler is going to be like a traditional scrambler that does have a lap bar, and this one actually also has a shared seat belt for the whole row. I'm sorry, I mean the whole car. I do remember this one being very accommodating, and I do feel like the seatbelt was pretty long as well. Raging Rapids is like a raft style river ride. I had no issues fitting on this ride. There is a seatbelt for each individual seat. On their accessibility guide, it says it's 57 inches long. But I didn't feel like there was an issue fitting the seatbelt or anything like that. And I feel like us bigger people should, definitely be able to ride and enjoy the Raging Rapids ride. The Eagle's Flight, unless you're with a really small child, I advise you to only ride one per seat. There is a shared seat belt. It's not super long, but it should definitely fit just you, or maybe like a very small child, depending on your size and the child's size. But other than that, you should be good to go on this ride. Doggone Trail and Kitty's Tea Party are another couple of rides that anybody should be able to fit on and ride comfortably with ease. The Firecracker, I believe, we should definitely fit. But my advice for you is to ride separately. Me and my fiance both rode separate. And I feel like that worked better than if we would have tried to squeeze in the car together. The cars are not that big. And there's also a shared seat belt. And I doubt we would have fit together. So if you want to ride this ride, I advise you just to ride separately or maybe with a very small child. And then you should be good to go. Revolution is a stand-up ride with like a fabric belt that goes across you to help secure you in. I felt the belt to be pretty long. Didn't have any issues or complaints with this ride, and I doubt many people would either. The following rides and attractions, us bigger people are not going to be able to ride. This is not because of our size, but this is because of a maximum height limit. The following rides have a maximum height limit of 54 inches, and no one over 54 inches is allowed to ride. These rides are Comet's Rockets, Dasher's Seahorses, Dancer's Fish, Rudolph's Roundup, and Tippecanoes. These are all more catered towards children. So if you do have small children, these rides would be super cute to watch your kids ride on. However, you are not going to be able to ride the rides because of the 54-inch maximum height on these rides. The following rides and attractions also have a maximum height restriction of 54 inches. However, if you are accompanying your child, you are allowed to go on these rides with them. They are the Holidog's Funhouse or Treehouse, Just for Pups next to the Holidog's Funhouse Treehouse, and the Prancer's merry-go-round. The Holidog's Funhouse, Treehouse, and Just for Pups are going to be like playground style equipment. Um, so, if you feel comfortable accompanying your kid on regular playground style equipment, then your child should be absolutely fine here. Then you should be fine accompanying your child here as well with fitting and stuff like that. The Prancer's merry-go-round, your guidelines here is you have to stand next to your child, which should have no problems fitting or accompanying you on that. The last ride in the main park is called Reindeer Games, which is literally just a miniature version of the Liberty Launch. I mean, it's really cute, but it's going to be extremely hard for us bigger people to ride this, extremely squishy. You're going to have an easier time riding Liberty Launch, and I recommend if you're going to come over here to do this, maybe just, watch the kids ride this one. Unfortunately, it's going to be hard for us to do. Well, I'm done with the main park, so we're going to be moving on into the water park, Splashin Safari, which if you do visit Holiday World, you have to go to the water park, Splashin Safari. It's included with admission. The first attractions I will talk about are going to be accessible to anyone, and I mean anyone, regardless of weight, age, size. Um, these are going to be first off the Bahari River, which is a lazy river attraction. There is different size inner tubes, so if you are bigger, I'd recommend you get one with the bigger holes in them. It will hold you, don't worry. But the ones with the bigger holes are going to be more comforting. You can actually fit your butt in there great, which is awesome. And the lazy river, I mean, you can't beat a lazy river. They're always fun. Holiday World has two wave pools. They have the Bahari wave pool, which is bigger and has bigger waves, and the older wave pool, which is smaller waves, but usually not as crowded, called just the wave. They don't allow inner tubes in these wave pools, so just be mindful of that. But they are fun wave pools for sure. And there'd be no height or weight requirements on these. Next up is the Jungle Racer, which is accessible for us bigger people easily. There's no weight limit on them. You do have to climb some steps to the top, so be mindful of that if you aren't in the best shape. Of course, you can take your time getting up there. No use rushing. Usually the Jungle Racer doesn't have too bad of a line, which is nice. When you are up there, you do have to lay on your stomach on a mat. So if you might have trouble with that, just be mindful of that. And then lastly, which is going to be accessible for us regardless of our size, is Monsoon Lagoon, which is a family water play structure. The slides have no weight limit on them, neither does the structure. There is some steps involved in the structure, and I think most people are going to be accompanying their children on this one, and the slides will accommodate you just fine. So, no need to worry about that. The following attractions will have no issues for us bigger people getting on. However, if you are over 54 inches tall, with these attractions, you have to be accompanying a child. These attractions are Hyena Springs, Safari Sam's Splashland, Timbo Falls and Timbo Tides, and Parrot Cove. Okay, Holiday World has a number of water slides that have a weight limit. And some of the water slides, they have a scale that weighs you, and others do not have a scale that weighs you. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because the weight limits are actually not for the slide themselves. The slide themselves can handle much more than the weight limit. It's for the tubes. For example, with some of the slides, when you weigh more than the weight limit, It can make the momentum go faster and, make you maybe go further up a slide than you should. Could even bust the tube, perhaps. That's extreme cases. Usually these weight limits are a lot lower than the maximum that it can actually hold, but that is just for safety's sake. On each of these slides, I'm going to tell you the weight limits, if they do weigh you or not, because I don't advise you to overload the weight limits. They're there for a reason. They're there for safety. However, I know, like, say the weight limit's 400 pounds, and you normally weigh around like 198, and your significant other weighs 195. However, sometimes your weight fluctuates. So say maybe that day combined you may be 402 pounds. But normally you'd be right at or under that. But if you don't want to risk embarrassment, you could try that ride. Being 2 pounds over is not going to do anything to you knowing normally that you'd be able to ride that ride. But if you for real know you're on a normal day going to be way over 100 pounds or whatever over that, don't do it. Those weight limits are in place for a reason, for your safety. I know they suck. I wish they weren't there. I really do. I mean, but we've overloaded the weight limit before. We shouldn't have, but we have. Just, for the ones with a weight limit, just be mindful of that. But for real, as if I said, if normally you're going to be right at or under it, but you're scared, maybe that day you might be a couple pounds over, then try going to the ones where they don't weigh you or don't have a scale. Knowing that you would normally be able to ride that no issues. It's just this day you might be bloated. So with that being said, the 2 slides here, going to be Hyena Falls, which is a complex of 4 slides, and Otorongo, which is a complex of 3 slides. They have a weight limit of 400 pounds a double tube and 250 pounds for a single tube. I know for a fact on Otorongo, it's just doubles, and you can just be a single person in the double tube. And on Hyena Falls, one of the slides you have to take the single tubes, but the others can be double, so I think you can just do one person on a double tube on those as well. I almost forgot to mention on both Hyena Falls and Otorongo, there is no scale weighing you. There's also no scale weighing you on the slide pictured now, which is Watubi. It's a 4 to 5 person raft slide. There is a maximum weight limit of 800 pounds on Watubi, and a maximum of 5 riders, no more than 4 adults per raft. You have to have at least 2 adults on this one. Or, I'm sorry, you have to have at least 2 riders on this one. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, unless I say otherwise, on all these slides, there is going to be stairs getting up to them. There's no other access other than to climb the stairs, but you can take your time climbing them, no rush on that. Next up is Zynga, which is like the giant, I call it like tornado type slide. Zynga will weigh you. They are very strict on the weight here. They do weigh you. There is a scale at the top of the slide, and it is a 600 pounds per 4 passenger inner tube, which is going to be minimum of 4, minimum of 2, maximum of 4 per raft. So again, they are very strict about that, and they do check it and do weigh you on this one. Also, another great thing about water slides is that your size don't matter where you carry your weight, how big you are, like physically, size-wise, you're going to be able to fit. No issue. The issue is going to be the weight on any of these water slides. This is Bakuli, which I call it a tulip bowl, but oh my gosh, super fun. It does have the 4 passenger type raft rides. There's a maximum weight of 700 pounds per 4-passenger inner tube. You have to have at least 2. You can't have no more than 4 riders in the raft. There is no scale that weighs you on this one. So, just letting you know about that. Next, we have Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has a maximum weight of 600 pounds per 4-passenger inner tube. You have to have at least 2 and a maximum of 4 riders per inner tube. This one does have a scale, and they are supposed to weigh you. However, I've been on this thing, I don't know how many times. I've yet to they even care or even weigh you. Like, so I'm kind of confused of why the scale's even there if they're not going to ever weigh you. I'm not saying you can't come one day where they do weigh you, because that could happen. So just letting you know about that on this one, though. Now we're going to do one of the 2 water roller coasters in the park. Wildebeest. Wildebeest, you're going to set like in a single file line in this raft. And there is a maximum weight limit of 800 pounds. They will weigh you. They're strict about it as well. The combined weight of all riders must be at least 200 pounds. You have to have at least 1, maximum of 4, for this ride. And in this photo, as you can see, they have like their feet under other people's arms. And that's just kind of like the seating style that they do utilize on the wildebeest. And there is no steps to get to this ride. Mammoth is the other water roller coaster in the park, and I personally feel it's better than wildebeest, but that's up for debate. These are going to be 6-person rafts, no stairs to get to the ride. However, they are really strict and they do weigh you. The combined weight of all riders, you have to have at least 500 pounds, but you can't have over 1,050 pounds per boat. You have to have at least 2, but you can have a maximum of up to 6 riders per boat or raft, whatever you want to call it. Last one's Kima Bay. This is going to be one that you're probably going to want to go on more if you have kids, to go with your kids. You won't have any trouble fitting. There is some stairs and stuff to navigate on this. The problem is the slides do have a weight limit of 300 pounds, but there's no scales or anything that will weigh you on this. Alright guys, well that concludes all the rides at Holiday World and Splashin Safari, going in debt for us big people, whether I think we will fit or not for each attraction. All the attractions do have, like, if there is a weight limit, that's going to be posted at the front of the line before you even get in. And if you have concerns about fitting in the main park, you should be able to just go through like the exit and check out a test seat to see if you do fit. Well, not like a test seat, but like try out one of the regular seats if they don't have a test seat. Just check out how you fit. But I hope this information is helpful and useful in planning your trip. There's going to be something for everybody to do, and there is, like with every theme park, there's going to be some shows too. There's something for the whole family here, and this park really does a great job at being family oriented. And if you didn't already know, there's free parking, free internet, free sunscreen, and free inner tube usage, and best of all, free soft drinks throughout the whole park. You can't beat that. For real, for the value you get here, it's a tremendous value at this park. So let me know if you liked the video. I hope you did. And if you do have any more questions, just comment down below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible and answer them. Maybe some more details about a certain ride or something like that. And if you do go on Holiday World's website, they do have an accessibility guide, which is also going to tell more details about some of the rides, especially if you do have disabilities and maybe was wondering some details about that. It's under their accessibility, and there's a downloadable accessibility guide, and it really will go into depth um, more about their attractions there and for guests with disabilities or just how rides are accessible or whatnot. So I do thank you so much for watching, and again, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment down below.